and so he followed Bobby Charlton all around the pitch and vice versa. So you could actually say on that day neither of them.
One of those guys, he had such a bright brain, such a...
When Martin Peters died in 2019 after battling Alzheimer's disease, the world of football lost one of its true pioneers. But his passing should remind us not of what was lost, but of what he gave us. Peters was one of the best ever midfielders England produced. His manager, Sir Alf Ramsey, called him 10 years ahead of his time, and that judgment has only grown stronger with the years. Peters played with rare intelligence, moving like a ghost across the pitch, finding space where others saw none. His career was built on something special, the ability to make great players around him even greater. The story of Martin Peters is really the story of 5 crucial partnerships. These were the men whose strengths combined perfectly with his own skills. Together, they created something bigger than any individual talent. Peters was not just a brilliant player on his own. He was a force multiplier who understood how to maximise what his teammates brought to the game. Bobby Moore was the foundation of everything Peters achieved with England. The West Ham trio of Moore, Geoff Hurst and Peters had grown up together at Upton Park under manager Ron Greenwood. They shared a deep understanding that needed no words. Moore was named England captain at just 23 years old, and he would become one of the greatest defenders ever to play the game. His command of the defence was total. His ability to read the game and distribute the ball forward gave England an unshakable base. This was crucial for Peters. Moore's defensive authority meant Peters had the freedom to push forward and attack. The system Sir Alf Ramsey created, known as the wingless wonders, required midfielders who could both defend and attack. But Moore's presence meant Peters did not have to track back constantly. Instead, he could focus his intelligence and subtle movement on creating goals. Moore controlled everything behind him, allowing Peters to be the ghost who appeared in dangerous positions. There was another benefit to playing alongside Moore. Peters often said he felt in the shadows of Bobby Moore and Geoff Hurst, but being less famous was actually a tactical advantage. Moore's reputation was enormous. Opponents focused their attention on him, trying to stop his distribution and mark his runs. Peters, the less celebrated partner, moved with less scrutiny. He exploited the space that Moore's fame created. In the 1966 World Cup final, Peters found himself in oceans of space in the goalmouth to score his goal. The defence was too busy worrying about the famous captain to track the subtle ghost. What made Peters truly exceptional was his technical ability with both feet. He could pass the ball equally well with either foot, a rare quality that made him unpredictable and dangerous. His tactical flexibility was so remarkable that he was reliable enough to play any outfield position during his West Ham career. On one emergency occasion during his 3rd professional game, he even filled in as goalkeeper. This deep, practical understanding of every role on the pitch enhanced his performance as a creative commander from the midfield. His England colleague George Cohen gave Peters his famous nickname when he described his movement as a drifting menace. This highlighted Peters' superior spatial awareness and subtlety. He had what coaches called brisk opportunism, appearing unmarked in prime scoring and assisting positions time after time. Opposing markers found him incredibly difficult to track because he read the game several moves ahead. While other players reacted to what was happening, Peters anticipated what would happen next. Now think about which modern football duo reminds you of the tactical connection between Geoff Hurst and Martin Peters. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you are enjoying this story of English football history, hit that subscribe button. The partnership between Peters and Geoff Hurst was built on years of training together at West Ham. When Hurst made his World Cup debut in the quarter-final against Argentina, replacing the injured Jimmy Greaves, their club chemistry activated immediately. The winning goal against Argentina was described as a goal made in Chadwell Heath, the West Ham training ground. Peters delivered an in-swinging cross from the left that Hurst headed home. Hurst later said he knew where the ball would go before the defence could react. This was pure telepathy, built on hundreds of training sessions. Their connection showed again in the World Cup final. After Alan Ball took a corner, Hurst fired a powerful shot that was blocked. The ball looped into the air, and Peters, displaying his signature opportunism, pounced on the deflection and blasted it in for the 2-1 lead. This sequence showed how their partnership worked. Hurst provided the primary powerful action that destabilised stabilise the defence. Peters provided the intelligent secondary run to capitalise on the chaos. Power combined with timing. Directness combined with refined technique. The effectiveness of this pairing was so strong that experts later said Peters' game seemed to lose some shine after his move to Tottenham. The main reason was losing his connection with Hurst. Their relationship also proved Sir Alf Ramsey's tactical revolution was correct. The wingless wonders formation required central players to provide width and attacking threat traditionally delivered by wingers. Peters' ability to deliver an inch-perfect cross from the left for Hurst showed that a central player could occupy wide channels just as effectively as a traditional winger. The wingless wonders system placed huge physical demands on central midfield. The formation required fitness, discipline, and hard work to give Bobby Charlton the freedom to advance as a creative force. While Peters initially competed with Alan Ball for a midfield spot, Ramsey eventually settled on a central core of Ball, Peters, and Nobby Stiles. This group provided the relentless energy the system required. Ball and Peters were perfect complements. Ball's engine and work rate combined beautifully with Peters' intelligent movement and playmaking. Ball supplied the non-stop physical drive, setting the tempo and providing coverage across the entire pitch. Peters supplied the intelligence, positional awareness, and refined technique. This balance of sheer physical volume and subtle creativity allowed England's midfield to overwhelm opponents consistently. Their synergy represented the practical realisation of Ramsey's sophisticated tactical theory. They proved that quality central players could compensate for the lack of specialised wingers. The combined work rate of Ball and Peters provided essential cover that allowed Charlton, who was defensively limited but creatively brilliant, to roam forward and act as a secondary striker. This structural support was critical to making the entire system function. Ball was directly involved in Peters' World Cup final goal. He took the corner kick that led to the defining rebound moment. This underscores how integrated their roles were. Their attacking partnership was as essential as their positional coverage. What separated this midfield partnership from others was the intellectual understanding between the two men. They did not just work hard, they worked smart, understanding instinctively when to press forward and when to hold back. When Peters moved from West Ham to Tottenham in March 1970, he became Britain's first £200,000 footballer. This high-pressure environment demanded immediate justification of the investment. Peters delivered quickly, linking up with key Spurs players like Alan Mullery, Martin Chivers, and Alan Gilzean. He rapidly secured trophy success, winning the League Cup in 1971. The partnership between Peters and Alan Mullery was a classic pairing of contrasts. Mullery provided dynamic energy and aggression, functioning as the robust, combative ball winner required in the physical First Division. Peters' subtlety, vision, and technical refinement were the ideal complementary elements. The midfield was both dominant and creative. Peters was a recognised free-kick specialist, a skill he used expertly with Mullery's dynamic movement. This blend of attributes reached its peak during the 1972 UEFA Cup final. Peters delivered a precise set-piece that Mullery met with a decisive diving header, scoring what proved to be his final goal for Spurs. This moment serves as a powerful analogy for their entire partnership. Peters provided the calculated, high-intelligence service and vision. Mullery provided the final, aggressive, determined physical action required for success. This dynamic midfield balance anchored the Spurs team that achieved significant silverware, including the 1972 UEFA Cup triumph in the first All-English European final. The partnership forced Peters to shift his tactical role compared to his international duties. At Spurs, he adapted to complement Mullery, the aggressive ball winner, by enhancing his set-piece execution and creative vision. This adaptability ensured his consistency across wildly different tactical and personnel environments. When Mullery transferred in 1972, Peters was immediately installed as club captain by Bill Nicholson. This elevation confirms that Peters was recognised for both his technical brilliance and his essential leadership qualities. He demonstrated this by captaining the team to another League Cup victory in 1973. His leadership style was quiet but effective, leading by example rather than loud commands. At Tottenham, Peters rapidly developed a great understanding with strikers Martin Chivers and Alan Gilzean. Chivers was a powerful finisher, known for his aerial threat. These attributes required a consistent, reliable supply line to maximise their impact. Peters' exceptional goal-scoring record for a midfielder, 76 goals goals in 260 Spurs appearances was a crucial element of this connection. His secondary threat meant defences could not simply focus all their resources on Chivers. Peters famously attributed his high goal count to being simply in the right place at the right time 4 times after scoring 4 goals in a match against Manchester United. His reputation as a complete midfielder meant he could perform the opportunistic scoring role, deliver the final pass, or initiate the attacking move. This made him the ideal link between the midfield engine and the specialised finisher. Their combined attacking output was decisive for Spurs' success. In the 1973 League Cup semi-final, Peters scored early, and Chivers delivered the crucial extra-time winner in the second leg. This proved their collective ability to deliver goals under maximum pressure. Peters adjusted his playmaking to provide the high-volume, reliable creative supply necessary to utilise Chivers' specialised power. The rapid and effective link formed between Peters and Chivers was fundamental to Spurs' successful period in the early 1970s. Together, they secured the 1971 and 1973 League Cups and the 1972 UEFA Cup. Peters' arrival as a record signing was a powerful cultural and financial statement for Tottenham. The immediate formation of this great understanding and the subsequent trophy haul suggests that Peters brought instant confidence and tactical clarity to the attacking third. Martin Peters maintained exceptional volume of appearances and goal output throughout his long career. He made between 880 and 882 total professional appearances and scored approximately 220 to 231 goals. This was a strike rate of roughly a goal every 4 games, an outstanding ratio for an attacking midfielder. His longevity was further proven at Norwich City, where he made 232 appearances and earned 2 prestigious Player of the Season awards in 1976 and 1977. Even in the latter stages of his career, Peters continued to demonstrate the same intelligent play that had defined his younger years. At Norwich, he was not the explosive force he had been at West Ham and Tottenham, but he was still the tactical brain who could unlock defences with a single pass. Young players at Norwich learned from watching him position himself, understanding when to move and when to stay still. His designation as the complete midfielder who was 10 years ahead of his time signifies his profound influence as a tactical pioneer. His versatile, intelligent approach to the central midfield role anticipated the need for highly fluid, interchangeable roles characteristic of later global football. His status among the world's elite was formally recognised by his 13th place ranking in the 1969 Ballon d'Or. This achievement is even more remarkable when you consider that midfielders rarely received such recognition in that era, when forwards and attackers dominated the voting. Peters represented a new type of footballer who would become standard in later decades. He was the modern midfielder before modern midfielders existed. His ability to contribute defensively, control the tempo in central areas, create chances for strikers, and score goals himself was the blueprint for future generations. Martin Peters' enduring legacy rests on his rare ability to function as the intellectual force multiplier for the team. He was not merely a brilliant individual, but a player whose intelligence allowed him to be the perfect counterpoint to his partner's specialised strengths. He was the subtle ghost who exploited the space provided by Moore's defensive command and Ball's relentless running. He provided the creative precision necessary to maximise the raw power of Hurst and Chivers, and delivered the vision that directed Alan Mullery's aggression toward decisive goals. Peters' career is a testament to the power of complementary skill sets in football. His success was consistently maximised by collaborative relationship based on deep mutual understanding and the ability to adapt his own versatile talents to the needs of the system or the specific strengths of his colleague. The ultimate memorial, the interment of his ashes within the foundations of his statue, provides a fitting, tangible link between Peters, West Ham, and the positive, enduring legacy of England's greatest footballing triumph. His funeral in January 2020 brought together generations of footballers who had witnessed his genius firsthand. When his ashes were finally interred at the London Stadium in September 2021, it completed a circle that began when he first signed for West Ham as a young hopeful. The statue stands as a permanent reminder that greatness in football is not always about individual glory. Sometimes it is about making everyone around you better, about being the ghost who appears at the crucial moment, about understanding the game so deeply that you can see plays before they happen. Let us know in the comments what you think made Martin Peters so special, and subscribe for more incredible football stories.